Hello, dear friends. Opinion piece. Is it possible to die of fear? People are losing their minds. Things can get more intense. Turn off the TV if you don't want to worry. General Flynn warns of a possible false flag. India moves 50,000 troops to China border. Basel forces banks to back deposits with gold. Thousands of flights cancelled due to pilots falling ill or dying. Let's start. Is it possible to die of fear? The answer would be yes for science. Stress and anxiety can produce a reduction of the immune system defenses and increase the risk of disease. In addition, cardiac regulation problems can be accentuated in strong stages of anxiety and stress, causing other problems that can lead to death if they become more acute, according to psychologist Pablo Oliva. Fear is the anguish for a real or imaginary risk or damage, or the apprehension that someone has that something contrary to what they want will happen to them. Who has not heard a story in which someone is so afraid that they do not live to tell the tale? Like that boy who bet with his friends that he would be able to spend the night alone in a cemetery, and the next day he was found dead, hooked to the branches of a bush. He died imagining that what was pulling his shirt were the hands of a corpse, according to Alicia Santos. Turn off the TV if you don't want to die of fear, because almost nothing happened, but everything generated more taxes and more economic crisis. Things may get more intense, but remember to stay cool and light. It looks like we are going to have a lot of people losing their minds, like mad cow disease. Historical examples. Do you want historical examples? In 1960, we were told that we would run out of oil in 10 years. In 1970, that another ice age would come in 10 years. In 1980, that acid rain would destroy all crops in 10 years. In 1990, that the ozone layer would be destroyed in 10 years. And in 2000, that the ice floes would disappear in 10 years. In 2001, they said that anthrax would kill us all. In 2002, the Nile virus. In 2003, SARS. In 2005, bird flu. In 2006, E. coli. In 2008, the financial crisis. In 2009, swine flu. In 2012, the catastrophic end of the Mayan calendar. In 2013, that North Korea would start World War III. In 2014, that Ebola would kill us all. In 2015, Daesh. In 2016, Zika virus. In 2018, global warming. In 2019, CO2. And in 2020, the bug we all know about. Thanatophobia. Thanatophobia is defined as a persistent, abnormal, and unwarranted fear of death or dying. While it is natural to fear death, people who suffer from this phobia have an exacerbated fear of death to the point that it affects their lives. In severe cases, they refuse to leave their home, participate in a funeral, or even talk about death. They are usually hypochondriacs due to the fear of contracting an illness that will lead them to the grave. This phobia could become so severe that work and social relationships may be negatively affected if the obsession with death continues to increase. Physical manifestations: dry mouth, insomnia, anxiety attacks, palpitations, and tremors. These tremors prevent the affected individual from being able to enjoy one's pleasurable activities and cause irreparable damage to personal or work relationships. A general feeling of hopelessness may lead to changes in routine affecting work efficiency or destroy or alienate relationships with loved ones. This is the end. I think we are finally coming to the end of the world's largest operation in history. Basel regulations are already in place because all banks must have gold to back their deposits, but debt forgiveness has not yet occurred. We must be close, but no one knows the timing of the currency reset, although it is assumed that it would cause temporary chaos and political changes around the world. It would be a shock of massive proportions with global implications. It could be a stock market crash, cyber attacks, a false flag, or any puzzling event. On Friday, June 25th, the US-Mexico border was closed to all non-essential trips. A flurry of military aircraft continued to fly regularly, while Los Angeles ports, shipping lanes, and cargo movements were still relatively closed. But the ports couldn't remain blocked indefinitely. Truckers were sidelined, and the media has not said a word about the incredibly clear freeways. In Southern California, the highways looked as empty as if we were at the height of the health crisis, but no one has said a peep. That's crazy. A recent tweet from John McAfee said, "I am happy here. I have friends. The food is good. Everything is good. Know that if I hang myself, it's not my fault." Close quotes. Military news. Military alert. Central Command's alert level has been raised to 4 now, due to US airstrikes in Syria and Iraq, as well as continued drone strikes by Iranian-backed militias. In addition, the US Navy has joined more than 30 countries for training in the Black Sea throughout exercise Sea Breeze. General Flynn warns of a possible false flag, in quotes. "Yes, something is going to happen, and I'm afraid that it's going to do is further divide the country. It's not going to be as dramatic as something you are talking about 9/11 and the stupidity, this UFO nonsense and this apocalyptic garbage." Close quotes. UK explains loss of classified documents on passage of its destroyer near Crimea. The UK Ministry of Defence said Monday that the recent loss of classified documents containing details of the passage of its destroyer HMS Defender near Crimea was a mistake made by a senior agency official. Russia mobilized its fighters after a frigate from the Netherlands sailed on June 24th in the direction of the Kerch Strait, and the ship changed course. The planes took off to prevent the Netherlands from violating Russia's border, the Russian Defense Ministry explained, stressing that the flights were conducted at a safe distance. Thousands of flights cancelled due to pilots getting sick or dying. According to a 2014 study published in the Journal of Thrombosis, pilots suffered an increased risk of clotting problems due to frequent and prolonged air travel. Pilots are encouraged to watch for signs of deep vein thrombosis and clotting problems and to take preventive measures such as compression stockings and leg stretching during long flights. India moves 50,000 troops to China border in historic move, with even more soldiers patrolling both sides of the disputed areas. Enemy's calculation could turn deadly. India has redirected at least 50,000 additional troops to its border with China in a historic shift toward an offensive military posture against the world's second largest economy. In recent months, India has moved troops and squadrons of fighter jets to 3 separate areas along its border with China. In total, India now has about 200,000 troops massed along the border. Two of them said, an increase of more than 40% over last year. Tigray conflict in Ethiopia. All sides have been accused of committing mass killings and human rights violations. More than 5 million people are in urgent need of food aid. United Nations says 350,000 people are facing starvation. Transformation. Transformation by Judith Castle. In the last few weeks, we have witnessed the greatest transformation taking place as the new Earth expands in all its glory and the old Earth disintegrates. This is unprecedented. It has never happened before. Each soul now has the responsibility to choose if they truly wish to leave the old Earth behind forever. The golden gates to the new Earth are wide open, but no one can enter there with the baggage of the old existence. Many are still trapped in the old and stuck in fear. Many are afraid to step into the fullness of the truth of who they are and live this and claim their sovereignty. No one can do this for you. You need to do this yourself. In fact, the new Earth is busy separating from the old Earth at top speed. Those who wish to stay on the old Earth will disintegrate with her, because she can no longer exist. Eyes of the Soul Wide Open by Catherine Biel. The brainwashing has been thorough. Call it mind control. Call it mass hypnosis. Call it being intimidated by information overload. Whatever it is, they have so thoroughly hypnotized much of humanity. It would be like trying to hand pluck a huge tree from the roots to get people to consider any possibility other than conventional truth. There is another spiritual side to this issue, of course: sovereignty, free will, soul contracts, and karma. All of this points to everyone making the decision with their soul's eyes wide open. I suspect it takes more spiritual maturity to accept the legitimacy of everyone chooses according to their soul contracts. Preparing for a New Reality by Susan Lai. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are all preparing for a new reality. Now, there has always been this new reality that we are unconsciously or consciously preparing for, but our dimensional bodies are still too primitive to be able to perceive beyond the limitations of their three-dimensional physical form. However, more and more humanity is beginning to remember the fourth, fifth, and beyond frequencies of its true galactic self. Yes, more and more humans are beginning to remember their own higher dimensional galactic self. While humans exist in the third dimension and sometimes in the fourth dimension, they are too busy to remember that they have forgotten to use 80% of their brain power. How to Shift to 5D by Daniel Scranton. People are waiting for something to happen, for someone to step in and be the hero of humanity. But you are all the heroes, and you must put aside your disagreements about who is the good guy and who is the bad guy, what is really going on behind the scenes, and so forth, so that you can come together as a collective and shift the collective consciousness to unity. There is only one narrative worth paying attention to, and that is the one that tells you that you are the ones who are creating this reality, that you are experiencing right now, and you are the ones who will shift the consciousness of humanity, so that you can experience a better reality, where no one is enslaved for any reason. Thanks a lot, dear friends.